I had a great chat last night with Stacy. She's so funny, you know. The meeting is now streaming live on Facebook, so just bear with me one sec while I go to my phone. Just if anyone wants to put any comments up, I'll try and keep an eye on things. So happy birthday, Elsa.
Oh, yeah, I'm
You forgot
I
about
know,
that.
right?
Yeah. Happy
Yeah,
birthday. So the last time we met was on
yeah,
my birthday, I think. Was that right?
yeah. Apparently, you turn, it's like a college degree when you turn 50. You get really smart.
All right. Well, life begins at 50, 60, and mine's coming up to 70, and I feel like I'm only just scratching the surface of what's possible.
Yeah.
And I feel there's a great big part of me that says, if only I'd have known then what I know now, I would have done life completely different. I would have just taken every single opportunity and not been afraid of anything and just stuck my chin out and give it a more sort of courageous thing, you know. So I'm only just breaking out, really. Well, that's not true. It's been a few years now. But I do feel that there's more and more and more opportunities coming up, you know, to get out there and to just express, really. Because we've just been having a talk, because I think more and more, there's never been a more confusing time in the history of mankind, I think. And part of me feels that there's almost like unscrupulous forces to try and keep our heads battered so we can't sink deeper and listen to the navigation system that's trying to guide us through all this nonsense. What do you think about that?
Well, I grew up watching Get Smart. It's
Yeah,
funny because I look a bit like 99 now. But yeah, I grew up watching Get Smart, and I always used to love, there was control and chaos. And
yeah,
control was supposed to be the good guys, and chaos were the bad guys. But I always loved Siegfried. Siegfried. I love Siegfried. And um, they were always good friends as well. I always thought this is interesting. They're actually friends, and that's what needs to happen within us. Is the yin and the yang have to become friends. There's no black. There's no white. There's no dark. There's no light. It's they help each other, including the ancient aliens in us. They have helped serve us to this point, but um, now that we're all getting sick, they're coming up because they don't serve us anymore because we're evolving to another level, a higher breed. And so it creates chaos inside us with emotions because they're attached to them.
yeah,
So if you think of everything has energy, so your lamps have energy, your car has energy, the water has energy, everything has energy. So those beings inside you who are leaving have energy. They have feelings as well. Their whole um, way of communication is purely through sense. So to have them come up and leave us and not have any reaction would be not normal. Do you kind of see what I'm saying? Like so,
perfectly. It's just like
yeah,
we when we meet, it's just confirmation of everything. The first thing is all day today. I've had this put this up, Joe, about smart Alec, you know, because it's all about smart, because we know her, and I've got just put this up. Hey, smart Alec, do you realize you're being outsmarted? Right? And I thought, and I think that's where a lot of people are, right? Because that's where I was for such a long time. I thought I knew what was going on. But my head was telling me lies for years and years and years, you know. And I can see that my job now, and because of my own personal experiences, it's not to be able to advise anybody because I don't even know what's coming up in my own life from one moment to the next. So there's chaos is good if you're confident with your own skills and abilities. But if you're not, then fear comes in and we look outwards for expert opinion and advice. And we follow that, you know. And I think that's what I did for such a long time. I went to like read academic journals, went to experts, tried to follow their instructions, and got worse and worse and worse and worse, you know. And I realized today is my job is just to say to people, I haven't got your solutions, but you already have. So here's a little technique to help you to plug back into what's called your innate intelligence. It's not intellect, it's intelligence. That's a different thing. and try and follow this feeling to guide you through all this chaos that's going on now. And I also what they're giving me all the time now is try and explain, Joe, to everybody that each individual soul has a special soul skill set. That's their strengths, that's their gifts, that's their talents. That's what they're here to express. Because by expressing them, they'll do more good than they can possibly realize. And I see that the educational system that's set up globally as it stands now is it almost educates you out of your innate skills. You know, it basically tells you you're crap at that and you need to spend all your energy getting good at that. And I see now that that's a trap. I don't know where all that came from. So really, what you're looking for again is not in there, right? Chuck that away because that's the seat of stinking thinking, right? And just sit in there and just say, I'm not quite sure what's going on here today. I wonder if you could possibly give me a little clue, right? And send me some inspiration or maybe some intuitive guidance so I can get through and navigate through this. And that's what I do, Elsa, and it seems to work.
Well, this is a tricky one for us humans to trust this, and um, and uh, we've found in our life we would get little stings if we didn't go that way, which is your path.
Yeah.
So we don't have any time lapse now. We follow the message of the bird or the rock or the cloud or the electrical or the numbers, whatever, astrology, whatever is coming through for that person in the family. We sit with it. We let it sit for a bit if we have to, and then we ride with it. And if we don't, generally it comes back again to say hello, remember, and so now we just go okay, but there's no reasoning to what we had to do. So they just I've heard other people and channelers and spiritual people speak like this. They go, oh, they told me to go to this shop, but I didn't want anything from the shop, but they told me to go to the shop. And they go in the shop and then they meet this person that they were meant to meet. But if they didn't go into the shop and follow it, they've missed that whole ring, that whole alignment. So I just see all the angels or whoever up on the cloud going, you mean they missed it again?
Yeah.
What?
Yeah.
Blah, jeez. You can see them shaking their heads, and like I can see them kind of like old farmers swearing. Like it's not all the farmers in Australia swear. I don't know if it's the same there, but every second word is a really foul word.
Yeah.
And I can see them just up there swearing at us and shaking their hands. They got sweat on them and like, so I got to do it all again. And so this is, you know, so I have a laugh at myself if I don't pick up on it as well. I don't beat myself up. Like, oh, I'm sorry, I missed it, guys. And you can feel all the farmers up there going, bloody
Yeah.
Sheilas. you know. But it's weird. It is weird. We're trained to believe it's weird.
I
Like you
agree. I
said,
mean,
the whole system is weird. It's
yeah,
weird. It's weird. It's weird. Yeah.
it's so difficult, isn't it? I mean, but I think globally now, my feeling is, and the sort of instructions I get, they're like instructions, but they're not. Sometimes they're not very gentle promptings either. Sometimes like a good kick up the bottom, really, you know. And I have that sort of mentality because that's who guide me. They're not farmers; they're sort of sailors and ex-dockers and things, you know. And they've got like that FFS all the time. Oh, you know that one. FFS. Oh God. And I get this sort of message. Didn't you see that, Thicko? Because that's how they talk to me, you see. So, and I'm all right with that because that's how I talk to other people. But I think more and more the guidance I'm getting is that this great shift in consciousness that's happening, right, is increasing more and more. So the force or the power of the waves is increasing, not only in frequency, but also in power as well. And because it's a cleansing wave, you know, it's a purgative, purgatory, whatever you want to call it. It's pushing up all the stuff of eons of time, not even just our personal stuff. It's coming through and it's sort of almost underneath our DNA codes, and it's sort of rewriting it as it cleanses all the stuff that no longer is in alignment with the truth in these times. And something I want to say is, and it's very strong this, and it's coming to me is, Joe, try and get the message across that we're living in a 3D world, right? And the information is coming from outside the 3D world. What you've got to do is you've got to bring it down to earth now and practice it in 3D. So in other words, wear the world like a loose garment, but be in the world, not of the world, because the world that's been up to this point now is disintegrating rapidly on purpose. See, look, I'm in preacher mode already. I know it's early in the morning there, but this has been piling in all day long, you know. And I have that
Only
one,
on
you
my
know, where God and Saint Michael, you know, because good Catholic lad, they're sitting on that cloud there, and God nudges Michael like that. Look what they're doing now, Michael. And they're laughing because I have this thing all the time is that I'm being laughed at all the time, right? But it's quite a nice sort of a feeling, really, you know.
Yeah, it's like at the, you can hear them at the pub, you know.
Yeah, exactly, exactly.
I just, well, this is funny because it's spirits, right? And this is one of the things that triggered you, spirits.
Yeah,
I'm just like,
absolutely.
really? Are you really taking you're really taking it out of us now. But yeah, it, look, um, like Jack coming home. Jack's been home 4 months now. And I, I'm happier with that feeling that we've all been just talking about rather than fighting it and trying to make it fit into the 3D world. The 3D world is failing, and we we don't watch any commercial TV, so when I turn it on, it looks alien to me. When I go to the shops, it feels alien to me. They don't take me out shopping because of this reason, because the kids are like, "You look like an ET. You can't come out." Like so, my shopping excursions have become very minimal. Um, but even Richard says when he walks through, he everyone's energy has it feels really different, and the people that seem to interact when we're out are looking for something within, whether they know it or not. They're looking for something, and they're drawn to our energy or someone else's energy like us. They're drawn to it to help them come out, and that's what you were saying is you don't know how to do it for them because everyone's unique, but you're there to show them you can do it.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
And
we're
it's
supposed to
simple.
be we're
And it's
supposed to be
simple, isn't it?
nutters.
Yeah, it's so simple. And the only thing that complicates it is, and this is the setup as well, is the analytical mind, isn't it? The analytical brain. I
Yeah.
need to know, you know, and the hardest part for me was to let go of the need to know and just trust that everything's in place. Every single day, the soul will attract to it what it needs to accomplish next through the human body. This is how I'm seeing it now. So every single day, I wake up, it's almost like it's coming at me like that. The scene is set. The people, you know, the people are being prepared off stage, you know, okay, oh, time to go on now, bump into him now, say this to him, piss off, you idiot. Let's see how he responds to that one. So the last 2 weeks I've found energetically is being really, really powerful. And there's been so many things happening. I mean, I fell off my daughter's step and near broke my toe, but I got knocked out completely. Right. And as it came round, they put me on the couch. And I can remember Claire, my eldest daughter, saying, Dad, Dad. And I thought, who's speaking to me? Who is this person? And she said, do you know where you are? I said, I've got no idea. She said, do you know where you live? I said, nope. Do you know who we are? No idea. And I was completely and utterly conscious and I felt okay. Didn't know where I was. Then she said, do you know who you're married to? So I said, so and so, right. And that was like 15 years beforehand. So I went back 15 years. This knock on me head knocked me back 15 years, right? And then she said, where are you going now? Right. you were going to see my nan in the nursing home. And I said, your nan's dead, right? So I went back 15 years on the one hand, and then I went forward about 15 years. It was so peculiar. Anyway, after about an hour, my consciousness came back to this present moment. And, but that was a real weird thing. Just to say that I was almost like knocked out of one dimension of consciousness into another. And on the left-hand side, I went backwards, and on the right-hand side, I went forwards. And it was all happening in my mind. But there was a part of me that was watching it thinking, this is all very interesting. I don't know why I've shared all that there, but that's what's been happening to me. Just part of it, really. Always happens on a Saturday morning after park run. I either have a heart attack or fall over and knock myself out. One of these things.
It could be the park, the energy of the trees with you. Because you're in moist, so it's misty, and it's always noticed on your runs, so that's a lot of yeah, I'm getting yes. Yeah, so you got the Fae, you got the rocks there. The way you live is pretty intense, and so you got all that. Liverpool is known as one of the biggest spiritual locations.
Yeah.
The Black Pools.
Yeah.
They would use them as healing until they docked over it and filled it all in, but these were all healing grounds there, and well known for it as well. Liver, spleen pool. So you're living in the great energies. So they've turned you off. They've turned you off 15 and 15. So they're showing you an orbit around your energy of this 3D-ness of 15 years. This is 3 and 3 years. So 3, 15. I'm just so they're showing a whole orbit around you. They've showed you that time doesn't matter.
Yeah.
Neither does your personality. They've showed you a total recall. Oof. Just for a few seconds to show you that it's actually not necessary, because you can still tick without this. And they've said, I've seen this on a few documents where people have completely never remembered. So all the illnesses they had, they say they had cancer. Then they get knocked out, and then this person, the new one, who's been refreshed, has no illnesses. Because it's not programmed in that person. They've got to start all over again.
It's good, this, because I went to see a consultant anaesthetist as well. And I said to him, because, I talked to you last time about I had a terrible pain. I was rushed back to A&E. They thought I was having another heart attack, but they said, no, your heart's absolutely fine, but your gallbladder's got to come out because it's full of rocks, So, I mean, I'm still, yeah, I thought, honest to God, and I thought, that makes sense, right? Okay. Because there's part of me that sits and watches all this. And I'm going, what's coming up next then? I wonder what's coming up next. Anyway, cut a long story short, they say, well, you have to have a pre-operative assessment with an anaesthetist, right? Because, to see whether your heart can handle it, really. So I went along, saw this anaesthetist, and I said to him, doctor, I've got this thing playing on my mind here. When somebody's completely out and you've anesthetized them and they're having an operation, I said, are they completely and utterly loose? Oh, he said, yeah, it's completely gone. Their consciousness is gone, and there's no sort of interaction with their body then, except these vital things. I said, so if you got their leg and you pushed their leg over and you did some massage on their leg, I said, when their consciousness came back, right, with their leg stay, which position? He said, no, their consciousness would bring back the memory of who they were before. And I thought, that's interesting. I said, I said, so what do you mean, doctor? Their consciousness comes back in? And he said, well, basically, he said, their memory comes back in and they take the shape of all the actions that they do it. And I thought, I said, so their consciousness, because I was playing around with him because I knew what the answer was. I said, so their consciousness then comes back in. Where does the consciousness come back in from? And then he looked at me as if to say, I'm not getting involved in this. But years ago, what I wanted to do when I was doing my PhD, I wanted to work with anaesthetists, right? And I wanted to go in and massage people while they were completely out, just to see if the massage technique could alleviate any problems they had with those limbs. But what tended to happen is, right, their consciousness came back. So the programs came back with them. I don't know quite where I'm going with this, but it was very interesting because it sort of links to what you've just said, really, about different dimensions and things like that. So I've tried to explain to people is the programs represent the illnesses. And what's actually happening now is this great shift in consciousness that's coming in is trying to rid us of all the old programs that aren't in alignment with the truth vibration in order to flush out any sort of illnesses that we have. I'll send over to you now and see if there's anything coming from there.
So you have to get rid of rocks. Are you kidding me? Because
No,
you got to
no.
get to play with new rocks. Just like, okay, so you've had them in there long enough, but now you got to get rid of them. So you got to shrink them down or dilute them.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that you can have the royal flush, basically, with as least most ease and grace as possible, which is just because they've got to leave the colony. So I'm sorry, because new ones are coming in. So this is what's been happening. Big asteroids have been and ET comets have been coming past. So some of this dust or tar or spice or whatever you want to call it is landing on us. Some of it we are having connections to our family. Like some people are remembering having these reincarnations because they remember some of this dust. It's familiar, but some of it is very alien as well. So again, this mixed in with the 3D-ness of us,
Yeah.
it creates huge chaos. They're huge, but the mass consciousness movement is too great now. It cannot stop this. So it's like when you see an avalanche or a big snowball coming, you don't you don't try and go like this, wait for it to stop it. It's better to go, it's like Tai Chi and
Yeah.
karate. It's better to flow with it and absorb the energy, whether it's light or dark. Absorb it and move it round. Then try and go because to go like this, you're just going to go whack. So this, honestly, could they have been any more funnier? We'll give Rock ET. We'll give him rock symptoms. I mean, when as soon as you said it, I was like, oh, of course, that's what it is, you know. So, I mean,
But they do take the piss out of me, and I take the piss out of others because that's the characteristic, really. But I've had
yeah,
more and more dialects coming in, though, the light language side of things. And I've been told that this is coming from extra galactic sources now. Whatever this means,
mm,
because, I don't get too bothered about it, really. It just comes in and it seems to feed me with new information, especially about Neptune and about water, because I keep getting the Neptune's trident. I keep getting this trident thing, and I also get this fifth element as well. There's loads of all this stuff coming in. But I've been working with people light language wise and sharing conversations in different dialects. And what it's happening is it's resonating with different parts of my body again. So I can feel that, especially my root and sacral chakras. And I've shared that with people, and lots of people are almost going through very strange feelings in their root at the perineum, where their legs meet in the middle, just underneath there, and their sacrum as well, And when you consider really that they're the foundations of human beings, it's almost like the foundations have been crumbling, but we're energetically being reconnected to the right alignment now. So the next thing is I've been getting explained to people, Joe, that this is about letting go and being realigned by the force. You don't have to think your way into this. You just have to surrender and allow this force that's coming in to realign you correctly with your soul's purpose. And I said, oh, of course, I'll tell them. So they are. I've told them.
it's like yeah. I'll put it on the list.
Yeah,
You
yeah.
know, but buy orange juice. Tell them about consciousness. Do the dishes. Yeah, this is what it's like. So you spoke of 3D, so the 3 points, and this is what spirituality has focused on for the last, I feel, the last 2 decades or decade, this Trinity.
Yeah.
But the Trinity is great, but you have to bring in the compass, the square, to then spin it all to make it like a circle. And so you have the 3 and the 4, which is the same when you write them in text. And the 4 is the compass, that come past us, the compass. So it's coming in, which is what you said. So your path comes into you, but you have to be this stable,
Yeah.
stability. This shape here is stability and strength. You have to have the path come in with this. But if you don't have this set up right, when this comes in, this gets skew-whiffed and you get out of alignment. And it creates a crisis, which is across us. It's a compass. So
Right.
when I hear someone say it's a crisis moment, I go, yes, because you need it, or I need it, or they need it. And I don't want it, but it's necessary. It's necessary for the next stage. And this is the other thing is I hear a lot of channelers speak of this. They give you the information right close to the last minute, like really, literally a need to know basis, because you don't need to know that far ahead because it will distract you and you'll become too gooped up with it all.
Yeah.
You'll fantasize it too much. So the need to know basis, if we get a message, it seems to come a day or 2 or 3 beforehand, and then that's the cycle of it. It's never longer than 7 days. It's always it happens out, and it's happened. And the confirmations, the way we learnt how to confirm it was that it was more than one family member or someone else overseas or something in the news or globally, and it would go dovetail, 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 and you go, okay, thanks for the peace bird, I get it. Peace, a peace bird,
Yeah. 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 Yeah.
peace
Yeah.
angel, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
I know you get it.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm trying to say it to myself again. It's like you get the peace of the dovetail, the synchronicity. This is it. Go with it. If you sit there in fear and doubt too long, you kind of miss the boat, miss the ship, miss the craft. You miss that. You might have to wait for something else to happen again. Or yeah. So
I've developed a stronger relationship with these extraterrestrial helpers, and more or less now on an equal footing with them, and I say to them, no, hang on, you'll have to give me that more clearly. I don't know what you're going on about. And so it's this now, I said, because I'm down here trying to receive this. So you'll have to find another way to tell me. So it's almost like that relationship now. No, sorry, don't know what you mean. So it's like an equal partnership, because before it was like, oh, they know more than me and this, that, and the other. But I realize now is that they're experiencing through my feelings and through my sensory system as well. So this is an equal partnership, this really, and stuff like that. And like yourself, I don't get too sort of overwhelmed by it all. I used to, but I don't anymore. Right? It's like, oh yeah, hang on a second, I've got things to do and stuff like that. So that's the relationship. But Crisis, what crisis? That was an LP, used to be called a long playing record when I was young. Christ, it was by Supertramp, right? And there's a song in there about the logical song, it's called the logical song, and it's about when I was young, I thought life was so wonderful. And then it's basically about how education really knocks us out of our intelligence. So we build our intellect, but it knocks us out and misdirects us away from who we really are. So that's the sort of thing. And at the same time, there was films on from Australia, Barry McKenzie films. I don't know whether that means anything to you, Barry McKenzie, but it goes back to what you were saying before about those in the clouds, effing in blinding and stuff like that. So there's all those links coming in. But Elsa, I keep getting this, and I'm going to say it because I don't know what it means. but I keep getting Gibraltar and the Rock of Gibraltar. Right. So there's something that's coming up, right? But not only that, it's the Straits of Gibraltar and something to do with North Africa and Gibraltar and the bottom of Spain. And what I get a picture in my mind is it's almost like Atlantis re-emerging. Now, I don't have a big connection with Atlantis. I have more of a connection with Lemuria and Mu. That's a big thing with me, is Mu, right? Because I think it links to the feminine side. And I think, again, it's to do with Isis, because you know our connections with ancient Egypt and stuff. So that's all coming up. So it will be interesting to see if anything emerges in that particular area, or it could just be a red herring as far as I know. But are you picking anything up at all with to do with that?
All week.
Oh, right, okay.
Yeah. Oh, so we have puppies. So I'm digging out the back. And then we have to go and get grass for the horses. So we go down and we literally cut fresh hay for the horses every day. And I noticed the farmer next door, he's not friendly. He won't talk to us. Not when no one's really friendly. They're kind of, uh, okay, I guess, but we've never shared words. And he was slumped over in his tractor and he had all the cattle in the cattle yard and they were all black cows. And I had a funny feeling come over me. Anyway, later on in the day, he got rid of all his herd, the whole herd, except for the three strays. So now I'm paying attention because it's the three. Whenever there's three wise men, the three magi ones. So I always pay attention when there's three. These three are calling us. These three like us, like the Dillons. They hang out on our fence line. They come talk to us. They love the dogs. The dogs run up and down, barking at them, and they play with them. It's very cute. These three are quite distressed. Their whole herd's gone. Their family has left. And they don't know, they've just disappeared, literally. Herd is herd. Her, two. She, he's two. Herd. Sheep is sheep-peep. Sheep-peep. This is not about feminine, by the way. They just use feminine in the language. Sheep is she-peep. She call. Shepherd is to be she, to peep, and to understand and hear. So to be a shepherd, you're here, you're in 3D, and you hear. You're here, but you hear. I was like, okay, so they're big words. Thanks, cows. No, doesn't stop there. So these hills that we live on, we live in between the four gold peaks, and they're called hills of Terra. These are where the children have had car accidents. They're where we see craft. I realised there's a rift. This came through Pamela's maps. A rift. So a rift is, you'll see a rift runs along a ridgeline of mountain ranges, and it's like a valley all the way to the ocean. The sun's going to line up on the solstice and go down this rift. So I realised that this is of great importance. As I realised this, I looked down on the ground. I was telling Pamela the other day, I looked down on the ground as I'm digging, and there's a blue cube, like a blue stone. It's square. And I went, wow. So now I go and put the cube over at the length of the rift. The rift is also your spinal cord or spine. So you have the rift on the valley, on the ground where the water goes, and then you have the ridge line at the top. So you got rift and ridge is important because it's it's a spinal cord, and this is what we are. We're the brays. They call us the brays, And so we have a tailbone, which is what you spoke about, where everyone's feeling it, is the tailbone. And to be a tailbone, you have two ends. And this is why Taurus is such a big symbol, because it's the arc, it's two ends. It's showing us how we are as electrical beings. So it goes down and up, down and up, down and up. So if we have illnesses in us, it gets stuck here zzz, zzz, on a knot, which is a spinning spot. And it keeps you spinning there until you have digested it or not. It can stay there your whole life, but you clear those rocks out from there, and then it can go zzz, 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 zzz. But if the rocks come up again and they don't serve you, then and these rocks that you speak of, I've been shown that they're rocks as well. They're rocks on. So if we're like, imagine plumbing and get the sink and everything gets caught there, that's what's happening in our bodies. It's not just kidney stones and all this just in that area. It's all through our veins.
Yeah.
So this is what we're having to clean up now, because they've been gooping us up for a few decades. Even before you had taken your first breath, you were gooped up from your DNA, from what your family went through. So there's a bit of, it's like you have to not only clean the cupboards from your house, then you got to do the family's house, and then grandma's house, then your uncle's house. Like it's like you got to, that's what we're cleaning up. So it's a lot of, it's a lot to do, but we're capable. We're meant to do this now. So.
There's so many people getting onto me who have got muscular aches and pains, right? Which seem to be getting, the more meditation they do, the worse it's getting, right?
Yeah.
And so I explained to them, that's because you're being guided to realign your muscular body with your skeletal body. So it's almost driving people back to yoga. And yoga means union. So it's a way to realign their skeleton, their musculoskeletal system, their glands. These are all different dimensions and frequencies of energy, because this high energy that's coming in is trying to get through. And what I keep getting told is, because I always get this, tell them to move more, right? And become aware of their breathing. They go, okay, I'll tell them. But the whole point is that the light body now is trying to infiltrate every single cell of the human body. And that's not enough, though. It's not about embodiment. It's about radiation. So it's almost as if the light body has got to shine through every single pore of the human body. So it's coming in through the solar energies, coming in into the meridians, into the nadi systems, into the muscular systems, into the blood vessels, into the stem cells. There's a great big flush going on to kick out all the shit in the stem cells that are misdirecting the energy and still fulfilling the old programming that's gone on for years. It's massive, this. I mean, they give me this picture of the DNA and all this stuff about the 10 strands coming back online and allowing the 12 strands to, fulfill their potential and stuff like that. But in reality, it's dead simple. And I must mention the fourth phase of water as well. We move from 3 to 4, because what they've tried to do is, and this is a really subtle one, is they've tried to poison the water to redirect how water works, so we don't get the full potential. Because the fourth phase of water is like a superconducting fluid that brings the not inflammation. Very good, that, very good. So it moves from inflammation to information to action. And I think we've got to be so careful about the water, right? More than anything else is. Be aware of water, speak to the water, ask the water to clean your act up, and see how you get on with that.
So in flame,
Yeah.
action. So it's asking us to be on path with our ions. So it inflames us to bring attention to. So if you go and put a band-aid on it or a tablet and say, I'll deal with you later. It goes, okay,
Yeah.
it'll get bigger.
Yeah.
And I know because it happens to me. I, go, I've got to do this, this, this. And it goes, okay. They're up there going, we told her. She's not listening again. All right, I'll have another schooner. This is going to take a while. um, but yeah. So the inflammation is part of the fluid. This is part of the four humours.
Yeah.
This is how they used to diagnose us, is
Yeah.
the four humours, which is my favourite, Felgum.
Yes.
It's not
I was going to
Felgum.
throw that
It's
in
phlegm,
there.
by the way.
Yeah. Belgium indeed.
Yeah, the kids always laugh. They go, I've got Felgum. I'm like, shut
Yeah.
up.
It's like bleed
Well,
in one's
now,
throat.
okay, so moo.
Yeah.
Moo.
Yeah.
What do cows do? Moo.
Yeah.
Moo. Moo's been huge for us is mucus. Moo, see us. So then they said it goes deeper. Pay attention. You're going to get a sore throat if you don't pay attention. Look up. So look up in the stars and they see Emu. Emu is the Milky Way, lactation. Lactation is the eternal flow. It's not lack, it's the eternal flow. We've been told lack is a bad word. It's not bad, it's the eternal spring. Lactation is the bosom with the milk, the first drink. This is very deep. So it comes from the memory glands.
Very good.
It's the two peaks. It's ma, mu, ma, m, the two peaks. This is what started us, was the two peaks on the 5th of June 2020. I went to two peaks. This is when I joined Facebook and social medias with the spiritual groups. This day that I joined was I think it was a total eclipse as well. The 5th of June 2020 was called the birth of the seed on this day. And now the seed has to recognize. So it went from 2020, then it had to go through the recognizing of the birth, and now we're sort of coming into the maybe adolescent or teenager mode of this. And this is where we're at now. So some of us have got it, some of us don't. That's okay, because we're all still in the young stages of it. So it's all right. It doesn't really matter where you are in this process, because you're meant to be there. It's just you've got to... now we're in this space of allowing what comes up, like what you're doing with this rock voice. Because, it's all great to say you do this rock voice between us, but to say it publicly and get ridiculed, which you do, we all do.
Yeah.
You're a nutter. You're a nutter.
Yeah.
We're nutters. You just go, it doesn't matter. You're because you're completely allowing it. And you're showing others now whatever's going on for them that doesn't make sense. Allow that. Allow. So it's like allow is all low, so we're continually grounding. Every time you allow something, you're grounding it. So not only do you have to allow yourself, now you got to be allowing of others, which means stop the judgment, stop the name calling, stop the blame, stop the shame. Just allow them to get through what they've got to get through. And this is a hard process for humans as well, because we've been trained to police each other.
Yeah.
So it's this stage of chaos now is because they're having to let go, so free fall into space and allow, and it's chaos. Emu in the sky. They're indigenous of Australia. When they would look at the stars, they would look at the lights of the stars, but then they would look at the dark, and this was different to many astrology, mythology, because they would, in their terminology, use the dark with the stars. Emu. Emu is an ostrich, a giant bird. Emu is Lemuria. It's the land of the lost. It's Mu. Mu is, this is why you're getting trident, by the way. And I've been getting trident a lot. Trident.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
It's they showed me, this is through Mila's map too, which I'll talk about more when I'm with Mila, but Mila's map went through, its Bermuda Triangle is off alignment. A Bermuda Triangle goes right up to Arkansas, up through the top of Canada, and then it comes down. And the island of continent of Mu was Easter Island was one side,
Yeah, yeah.
all the way over to Tonga, and this is all here. And you can see it on the map, and you go, no way. It's Mu. This is the first. This is a lost civilization. They don't know what happened. They said this civilization disappeared in a night. Now, you know, everyone goes, oh, it must have been a meteor, must have been the great flash, it must have been this, but you don't know. You have no idea. These rifts in the mountain ranges, we've been shown that they've been created. So for my brain, I go, really? So they actually created the rifts in the land. And it's all about the water, the movement of water through the land.
Yeah.
I sort of dumped the whole thing on you, but I was showing you how Trident comes in,
Yeah.
Mu comes in. Steiner schools, his belief system was of this time, a Satan type character would come through like the devil. I look at his picture and he's got like a trident look in him, like a try in him. I was like, oh, well, this is coming up for us. These dark demon feelings are coming up for us to be the best or the beast.
Well, I agree. I mean, that's the thing. The power of that energy comes to me because I get told quite clearly, call upon your redeemed Anunnaki. He is here to help you. He has always been here to help you. Make them understand this, because this is how it comes in. Make them understand that they're here for a purpose as well, to help clean up their act too. So this is like it's like a double act. There's double as well, right? Like Gemini is double. So it's just twin there. And I go and tell her, that's you. Tell her, you know, she is representative of an iron fist in a velvet glove, right? Okay. So you're iron fist in velvet glove, okay? You were born in the Chinese sign of the tiger, right? Apparently, right? So all this stuff about, I feel, because I got clearly as well as the time of gentle Jesus, meek and mild, has now left, right? And it's more now about cleaning up the temple, you know. So it's almost like spirituality, if you like, which has had a meek and mild and send love and light to everybody. That's almost like being moved out of the way now, because the time we're in now needs a different sort of a mechanism to clean up things more quickly. And Elsa, I'm like you, I take it all in and say, well, okay, then what are you getting at? It's like, you know, I know what they're getting at is get off your arse, right? Get off your arse. Use the skills and the skill set that your God-given talents to make the world a better place. Stop analyzing and theorizing, right? And stop talking and start walking. And I'm getting that all the time now. transmit that lesson, Joe, or transmit that message and see what comes back from it, you know. So there it is. And I get this all the time now is, okay, what are you going to do about it? And that's why when we have these talks or we talk to other people and we get this information that comes in, my thing is, okay, that's all very nice and very interesting. What can be done practically by me today? Right. And I think that's more important than anything else. And that phrase I use all the time is, right, is acting, not sitting and thinking, but acting on information received. Forget what's going out in on whether the earth is flat or round, right? Forget whether it's the Pleiadians, the Arcturians, or anybody else. Forget that, Joe. It's just information that's coming in. Act upon it. But above all, do no harm if at all possible. And that's the message, really. Simple.
Okay, can we split it up now? So,
Yeah.
gem in eye, fist, was it velvet,
Velvet glove, iron
vel,
fist.
velvet glove? Okay, so gem is a gem is something that is it's a being that is still or stalled. So in eye, gem in eye. So stalled one in the eye, in the fist of the glove. So this is the word first love. So first love is well. Born in the year of the tiger is the big cats. So Elsa, born free, and it's the zebra version. So it's black and white, stripy big one. It's funny because I've got Jeannie, who's born in the year of the dragon. Boy, does she let you know it. She's fiery this year. The whole family's
Yeah.
feeling her. She's like, she'll put everywhere. It's so funny because she's so little, and then she looks up at the two boys now, and she will tell both of them off and Richard at the same time because she wants to do, and it's not in a bratty sense either. It's like a knowing.
Yeah.
And we all look at each other and go, "It's the genie," so no one argues. So we were warned of her as well. So it's just so funny. Yeah, gem in eye. So when I was born, I was missing my eye tooth, my left eye,
Right. Yeah. We know
and
that
it's
connection.
hereditary.
Yeah.
Oh, it's hereditary. So it's yeah, these things don't leave you alone. They keep coming back, and until you go, okay, I understand it. I see the playful side of it, and I'll use it now as a tool. I get it now. Thank you. But it's not that we walk around like this either. Like it's not like this at all here. If anything, I'm told to shut up a lot because it's a lot of information.
Yeah.
You know what we talk about. It's a lot. It's a lot. But it's amazing how it happens in your real life. Don't you find this amazing? Like, so you'll go, I'm not going to, look, leave me alone with the whole dragon thing. But then when you go out to the shops or you go on your run, it's everywhere. I know
I'm
you have this all the time.
it's like the light language thing as well, you know, because I can be going along and talking to and I'm thinking stop, you know. And so I'm trying to transmit an information in English, you know, and then this other thing's trying to break through in a different dialect, you know. But the other one's coming through now. The rock one, you know, the rock one is coming through deeper and stronger and much more powerfully now. And I get told, and the picture I get is really clear. I go through that prehistoric dinosaur era, and then I go back deeper than that now, you know. And so, and I always get this big black, it's absolutely, it's like a crocodile, but it's huge, but it's really shiny black, but its tail is so powerful. You know, so the dragons transform now into this other sort of reptilian creature. And that's where they get the Anunnaki connection, you know. And I'm not bothered about that now because I know that there's a lot of power there now. you know. And what they've done is they've taken me backwards in my mind, right, to the point of almost like interference or creationism or whatever you want to call it. And so I got this change in DNA there, but I got taken up onto that one into the future then, because they come from the future, right? They've used the human being or the hybrid for their own purposes, right? But I got taken back. So I got, this is how you do it, Joe. Go backwards to the point of origin, if you like, and go backwards because the information which you're holding is actually future information that you've got to bring back to this present moment. And I say, oh, okay, thanks very much for that.
Yeah, that's great. So you wear this hat with it's a cross or a H on it. I think, oh, there's two hats. Maybe
Yeah,
they're
yeah.
two
Under
hats.
Armour, yeah, yeah.
Yeah, so the spine is the DNA, and so you have crossing, every time it crosses is crisis point
Yeah.
because it's going through this tight spot and it goes up like this. So this is also the two snakes, entwined serpent, very powerful symbol. Uh, when Neff came through, when I'm going to tell you this funny story because this is again, this is how it happens in our real life. So Neff comes through and they keep getting the white cow in the middle of the night. So this stray white cow would come to our house in the middle of the night and stand in front of our bedroom and moo. I was like, really? A white cow? Okay, what does this all mean? Anyway, Richard went and picked the children up. They were at the local country school. We just shifted up to Byron, and they're all babies. And I'm pregnant with Jeannie, and I look down at the dairy bales, the old shed, and I've gone, oh my God, the biggest snake I've ever seen. And I'm starting to flip out because he's huge. And it's a brown snake because it's standing up. The brown snakes stand up like cobras, but much bigger. And they're king brown. They call them king browns, of course. King brown. Anyway, so Richard's at school. And I ring Richard and I go, babe, the biggest snake I've ever seen. It's down at the dairy bar. Now, these snakes kill in, I think it's 20 minutes. Their venom. Yeah, everything in poisonous in Australia. Richard goes, I can't do anything. Go, you're not near it, are you? And I went, no, I'm here on the porch. And I actually had to go and have a beer because my nerves were freaking. Because I've got babies and dogs and chickens. And he said, they're not out to get you. Wait till I get home. Don't go near it. Just stay here. Anyway, drops the kids inside, tells Gemma to watch them. So Gemma gets out the spoon. So she's telling them all off because they're all curious. I get in the car with Richard. We drive down to the dairy barn. We come round the back of the dairy barn, come round. And Richard goes, it's impossible to have a snake that big. And I was saying, it's this big. It's huge. He goes, Brown's, it's a python. I said, it is not a python. He stood up. Richard goes, it's impossible. We drive around the dairy barn. It's two snakes doing the dance. They're entwined. And they're both looking at us. And Richard said, do you want me to do anything to them? And I went, well, that's a... And then we looked at each other and went, well, that's kind of rude. We can't, they're kind of busy. They're just looking
Yeah,
at us, these two. I was like, it's kind of cute, right? And he goes, yeah. And he goes, are you happy now? Are you okay with this? And then so we said, well, we should just leave them, right? Because we didn't know what to do because we were new up in the area. So what do? We scare them off? What do? Do we interfere? Anyway, so we came back to the dairy bar. And I was like, it's quite romantic. And Richard's going, you idiot. Anyway, then it dawned on me, I'm going to have to calculate the gestation period and the eggs because they're going to be laying eggs now.
yeah.
So it taught me the snake cycle so that I knew when to let the kids not be around that area because the babies are double poison of the big ones.
Right.
Yeah, so that I learned about snakes. But this was the entwined serpent. And I learned that the entwined serpent isn't this dark energy. It's actually our DNA.
Funny you
The
should say that.
serpent, yeah.
One of my attempts to do myself in when I was going through my dark period, I injected myself with Russell Viper venom.
Who's Russell?
I have no idea who Russell is, but it, yeah. But and they had to rush me. Obviously, I was working in the hospital. This is why I lost my job with the National Health Service, right? Because I was going through a dark time, and I thought this should see me off, right? But I came round in the intensive care unit, and then that was the end of my sort of biomedical career, But they used to say when I used to play rugby. Then a few years later, they used to, in the line out, in the line out, they use a code. They used to say, "He who speak with forked tongue." That's how they used to call it me. So I've got that reputation. But yeah,
You're
that's
like
that's
Harry
just
Potter. You
yeah. Well,
speak.
absolutely. But the caduceus, the intertwined serpents, I use that a lot, right? Along with all the Egyptian stuff, which was coming to me as you were talking about the snakes. But I use that a lot now to try and explain the balance, and now we're all being brought back now to balance. It's not about good, it's not about bad. It's not, it's about balance between the masculine and the feminine. And I think more and more people are beginning to understand this now, that it's a dance, it's an energetic dance. And we've been crap at dancing for a long time, but we're almost like being coached now into how to cooperate, right, and work harmoniously rather than fighting in that relationship. So I use that all the time, and every time that they intertwine like that, there's a gland there. So there's 7 glands. So the first one is associated. The primary intersection is to do with security, personal security, and that's the adrenal glands. As we move up, then it becomes the sexual organs. So there's the next one. Then we come into the solar plexus, which is to do with the pancreas. Then we come into the heart, which is the thymus and the immune system. Then we're up into the throat, then with the thyroid and the parathyroid glands. Then we're into the pituitary gland, then the master gland, and then we're up into the crown, then where the pineal gland is. So there are those intersections, right, where they all meet. So the meridians and the chakras coincide with those connections and those glands. And that's why when there's any disturbance in the energetic body, we have hormonal fluctuations that create the mood that we're in. So in order to gain where you're up to with things, you just need to look at your mood state, basically. And if you're open and flowing, everything's fine, right? And if you're not, don't be blaming anybody else just because you've got a cob on. It's because your hormones are out of whack and you need to take a step back and reset them. Now, I see you smiling there, so I don't know what that means.
Oh, you said the word mood.
Yeah.
Mood.
Okay, we come
Mood.
again. Yeah, yeah.
I know, but this is what this so this playfulness that I have comes across as naive, but they say they want me to be naive because naive is origin, native, naive,
Ah.
native, naive. So this playfulness, this thing that annoys people about me is the way that we help understand it.
I had that this morning. The reason that the state of the world's in the state it's in now is, Joe, he said, whatever it is, he said, it's because of naivety. This is what I got this morning, right? It's because of naivety and ignorance, Joe. So really, the way forward is education, right? It's education, but coming from a different source of information. So it's to dispense now with the head knowledge and be more heart centric now. So we just need to bring more heart back into our thinking and just show them the breathing, show them that technique. Because if you can help them to plug back into their intelligence rather than their intellect, then that will take over then and guide them in a different way. And this is what they showed me as well is, Joe, most of the world has been working from something called the EMC, External Moral Code. And that's basically a societally engineered contrick. What we need to do is we need to go back into our IMC, which is our internal moral code. It's not about being good or bad. It's just aligning with who you essentially are. And more people now, Elsa, they're understanding this now. They look at the world and they think, what a load of bollocks. And it's just because of our naivety and our ignorance, and sometimes of our arrogance and our pride as well, that stopped us from listening, right? But mostly it's naivety, ignorance that's caused us to be in the state that we're in now. Look, I'm like in lecturer mode, Pope mode, and everything else today.
So you said I am C. I am C. I am C. So so C, two peaks, C. So now you have the one ones again, and the memory, the two peaks, the ma in the middle. So, but you can take the M out and just be 1 1.
Yeah.
You don't have to be the memory. But you can still be, the two peaks are also the two high points. So you can be anywhere on those two pyramids, the two memories. But at the nipple is the best spot because it's the most sensitive, and that's where the milk comes from. That's where the information comes from. You also said bullocks,
Yeah. I didn't
which
quite say
is.
bullocks, but I think
You also said acting before, which is act sing or path sing. So it's being sing. So it's being the call, which is call is the rise, the first sun, the first light. Because I know they call you sun all the time.
yeah, they do.
So be call, be sun, be light, be soul, bell us. So I've been offering, people have been saying, how can I stop the mind chatter? How can I stop this? And I say, well, the villagers used to hum and sing. And so humming, because humming vibrates you. Breathing, I know breathing's a big one, but sometimes I can't breathe. Humming helps numb it all a bit more. But humming a tune or singing a tune, and this is what they would do. They would continually do this through the day to lift the vibration of them for the greater good of the village. It wasn't just about them. It was for the village, it was for the family, it was for the harvest, it was for the animals. They would do this. This is why birds sing.
Yeah.
Birds don't get paid to sing, by the way. They go, all right, I want you to sing this, and this at this time, and you were a bit off on yesterday on this key, so we want you
Yeah.
to sing a bit higher. They don't do this; they just do it. Why? Because it lifts them. They all get on the branches and carol, some of them together, and from hilltop to hilltop, the crows. Why? Because they're lifting their vibration. Because they're not always doing it to get a mate. Sometimes they're just doing it because of, like, you see a bird fly off a branch, right? He doesn't fly straight to the seed. He does a bit of a loop and a bit of a dive because it makes loses his. You know when you lose your tummy when you go over a big jump? Because it makes him feel good. Why did he do that? He wasn't instructed by anyone. He just did it because it feels good. So if you can hum a sweet tune or to help the noise chatter stop and
It's lovely
sing.
this, because you said, they don't do it to get paid, and I got X Factor, and then in my mind I put so the birds are like the Y factor, and then you said why, and I thought that's good the way they do that. But we're very lucky, see, because we live on a farm, and right at the back of us are the cows, the dairy cows and stuff like that. But this week we've had two woodpeckers, an owl, we've got all the seagulls, we've got all the birds, but the golden crested ones, we have those, and we watch them, and they're the smallest, the most colourful. But because it's like fledgling time now, there's so much activity going on. So Griselda, our cat, she's basically being tied up in the corner, going mad trying to get to them and stuff like that. But we're so fortunate in where we are. But it's like a bloody miracle, the fact that we're here, and that's why I've had such a feeling of gratefulness coming over me in the last couple of weeks. Really powerful. Isn't it great to be alive? And sometimes when people are going through hell, right, it gets on their nerves if you're smiling all the time, but I can't help it, you know what I mean? Right. Because I was so miserable, Elsa, for such a long time and trying to do myself in because I couldn't handle things. And all it was is I was just looking in the wrong direction. And that's all I can share with people is I used to see things like that. And that's because I was in my head processing information. But now I understand that there's more intelligence here if you're just willing to take time out and reconnect and make that stronger, you know. I'm
Well,
definitely on one today.
you are, and this nerve thing. So I don't know if you can see, but I've still got a bit here. I got bitten by a tick here. This is the first spot and the last spot for it to go. So it went from here, this node, to this node. So I had a burst out here. Then it went down to here. So it made my throat enlarged, which is a disease, apparently, famous disease. And then it went up to this one and here. And not only did it have leaking spots and sores and swollen, but it attacks your nerves, so you don't handle information well. So I had 2 or 3 weeks of this, and I was still in communications with people. I was fine, but if I took on too much, or because as a mum, I like the house a certain way and things. So if I took in too much, I would just lose it at Richard or the kids, and it's not. I don't think it's like me to do that, but it was just I was more heightened, and it was like a reminder to be understanding and compassionate of others, because this is what they're all going through. Their nerves are shot. Because it felt like I saw on one of your presentations, I took a picture of it because it was brilliant. It was a picture of the body and all the nerves coming down. It was like, you know the one I'm talking about? It looks like
Yeah.
like a fringe.
Yeah.
I was like, that's what my body is going through. Every single nerve in my body, I could feel it. And Lyme disease, 6 months, and now I'm healing it in less time. Like it's getting shorter and shorter and faster. But so why did it come up? Did I do something wrong? No, it's just saying, be understanding of what people are about to go through. Be understanding. Today is supposed to be a big day, not just for me, but astrology-wise. It's a big day. Tomorrow is my father's birthday, Michael.
Right.
I don't know if he's still alive. We haven't spoken for years. I get strong messages from many that he isn't. Many have said that they have spoken with him and they've assisted him. And so his birthday is on Father's Day for Australia and USA. So you have the one, and then you have the father, the ones. And apparently it's their big days. They're really big days, today and tomorrow. And a lot of people are saying there's big things happening on Father's Day. And you know why? Because Father is the one that gives the seed, the one to come in and grow. And this is what we have to be. We have to be in. You have to allow to do this.
Yeah.
You can't keep all the seed and have a son. It doesn't work that way. You have to allow it to go. So you have to pray. You have to let one go forward, and now you have to walk into it. And this is what Dr. Joe does when he goes for his run. He speaks words and runs into his words. Literally, because you're pushing the words out and you're running into them. So this run chat that you do, that I love, please don't ever stop doing them, because they're just so brilliant. These run videos that you do, you're running into your words, which is a prayer. And it's beautiful. And it assists many. You don't know why you do them.
No. I've got no
But you
idea
do 'em.
anymore. People say to me, I've said this to you before, they come to me for some sort of wise advice, and I think I've got no idea, because literally, I couldn't give a shit what's going on, really, and I don't get over enamored with anything, really, and I just sort of go, well, they say, well, how do you live? I said, I just do what I feel. In the morning, I say a little prayer, I tap on my heart, and I say, look, I don't know what you want me to do today. I'm in your service, or whatever I say, and I say, so use me as you see fit. over to you. I'm going out now to enjoy myself. And then I get on with my day, and suddenly I'll get stopped. I'll get a little push. If you were a religious person, you say spirit moves me, but I don't get into all that. I just get a feeling of, okay, what you want, and I'll maybe get some sort of clear indication. Probably not though. I have to try and work it out. But that's how I live my life now. I'm interested in, when the universe started and all that. I'm interested in all that. But to be honest with you, it doesn't matter to me really, because all I'm trying to do is enjoy myself in life and try and be as helpful as possible. And I don't, Elsa, most of the time, I've got no idea what's going to come out of me gob next, which frightens me sometimes, but there you go.
Well, I wait around for it. So I go, what's he going to say next? So it's interesting. It is. It's very interesting.
It
I
is.
loved all the mood, and you said you tap here. This is the interesting. So this tapping is because we were showed the heart is more the dorsal. So you're
Yeah.
you're tapping. You're going, hello.
Yeah.
I'm awake now. You can tell me. See, it's quite cute, right? You're knocking on yourself. You're knocking, wake up. So you're
Well,
awakening yourself. Like
well,
it's
I've
so
said that to you, and
symbolic.
I knock it like that. Say, "Hello, anybody in there?" Knocking on heaven's door, because that's the heart.
Oh,
But I honestly
yeah,
believe the spleen, like you, that's the soul. That's where all the information is there.
yeah,
And as I
yeah.
said to you before, there's actually a triangle called a pranic triangle, right? There's 3 points. One's just behind them, between the shoulder blades. The next one's the heart, and the next one's the spleen. So if you were going to let
Oh,
anybody,
so it goes. Oh, because I've that's a way. So that's how the triangle works. So it goes spleen.
spleen,
Wow.
yeah, because one's, so it's front and back as well. So there's a connection there. So it's almost like a triangle. But I get the picture of, Jesus on the cross and the Roman soldier taking the spear. That was puncturing the spleen, right, to let the soul out and the soul's energies. I mean, I don't know whether that's true or not, or whether I've got the right side, because I'm not bothered looking into it. But I just got, when I was thinking about it or meditating on it, I got, that's why the spear in the side, right, represented, it was the spleen that was punctured, not the heart, right. And I thought, that makes perfect sense to me now.
Well, we get with so not to offend anyone that is religious, but we mash it all up together, right?
Yeah,
So in the land of mashing it up together, upside down land, so you have the caterpillar here. So it's one spine, the bray, which we start off as, and then you have butterfly. So you get butterfly. So when you butterfly meet, because
yeah,
we're meat,
yeah.
we do meetings.
Very good.
So me, ET. So when we're meeting other ETs, but we're meat, which is moo, me, moo. So butterflying is what Christ did on the cross. But when you butterfly open, you're in a allow state because now you're seeing the male and the female. So now you can go like this. So when you come together like this is the
Yeah.
this is what a butterfly would look like. So comes in, comes out. It can't fly all the time like this. It has to come in and out, in and out. These are the ebbs and the flows. So when it comes in, it comes to crisis point. Then it pulls away, so you go and digest it. Then you come back in and you have another higher version of yourself. So you see how you're coming up the spinal cord?
Yeah.
And then you'll go hit the top, like at the showgrounds where they hit the hammer on. So you get to the top, bang, then you come back down, and you come back up, you come back down. And if you look at how electricity works, this is how electricity works. This is what we are. This is what we are. So
Um,
everything you talk about,
So
it's
it's
amazing.
as the heart opens, more magnetism comes out, which is associated with the feminine. So more magnetism is realigning, and this is what the great reset really is. As the heart opens, the magnetic energy then drives the electrical flow through the nervous system. That's then activating muscles that have been tense because of fight and flight, right? So it's not just personal, it's ancestral fight and flight mechanisms. So they're being reset now. But what will come up is as the muscle memory comes up, there'll be an action that we need to take as in this human form to neutralize that so that the energy then can pass through that then. And this is all happening. So the point I wanted to make before, I'll have to go in a minute, but the point I was trying to make before is if you're doing loads of meditation, but you're not moving and allowing it to express itself through your human body, it's going to be more painful. So this is really all about movement. So Tai Chi, swimming, do loads of swimming, running. I'm not very good at these things, but at least I'm moving. And when I'm actually doing these things, I'm aware of me breathing as well. So most of my breathing is pushing all the crap out you go, and it's almost like making space then for more cleansing energy to come through, really. Other than
No
that, just a
rocks.
normal day, really.
Yeah, I'm gonna go put the kettle on.
Yeah, put the kettle on. I have a cup of tea. It's 7:30 now, or 7:25 over here in the UK. So it's
I have
lovely to
no
see you.
idea
Feels
what
like a
time it
long
is.
time, but I always feel connected to you, and
Yeah,
I hope everyone's well. Send my regards to your family because I love them. I've never met them, but I just love them anyway. And maybe we'll have another one of these when the time is right and see how we're getting on.
yeah, definitely.
So have a lovely, lovely birthday.
Thank you, Dr. Joe.
And
Thanks for having me, and
oh
thanks to your audience. You're lovely. You're
yeah,
very
no,
sweet.
you're all great. There's been some comments here, some rude
Oh,
ones. Steady on, chap, steady on. You can't talk to me like that. I'm a very well-known person. Load of old nonsense. So Elsa, thanks, love. And if there's anything at all, keep in touch and speak to you next time.
thank you. Bye.
Okay. Bye bye. Bye bye.